The RIM-66 Standard Mister is a medium-range surface-to-air missile originally developed for the United States Navy. The M1 was developed as a replacement for the RIM-2 Terrier and RIM-24 Tartar that were deployed in the 1950s on a variety of USN ships. The RIM-67 Standard is an extended-range version of this missile with a solid rocket booster stage. Description: the Standard Missile program was started in 1963 to produce a family of missiles to replace existing guided missiles used by the Terrier, Talus, and Tartar guided missile launch systems. The intention was to produce a new generation of guided missiles that could be retrofit to existing guided missile systems. The RIM-66 is the medium-ranged version of the Standard missile and was initially developed as a replacement for the earlier RIM-24C as part of the Mk-74 Tartar guided missile fire control system. It used the same fuselage as the earlier Tartar missile, for easier use with existing launchers and magazines for that system. The RIM-66B, while looking like the earlier RIM-24C on the exterior, is a different missile internally with redesigned electronics and a more reliable homing system and fuse that make it more capable than its predecessor. The RIM-66B Standard Mister was used during the Vietnam War. The only remaining version of the Standard Missile one in service is the RIM-66E. While no longer in service with the USN, the RIM-66E is still in service with many navies globally and is expected to remain in service until 2020. The RIM-66C Standard Mister was developed in the 1970s and was a key part of the Aegis combat system and new threat upgrade. The SM-2MR introduced inertial and command mid-course guidance. The missile's autopilot is programmed to fly the most efficient path to the target and can receive course corrections from the ground. Target illumination for semi-active homing is needed only for a few seconds in the terminal phase of the interception. This capability enables the Aegis combat system and new threat upgrade-equipped vessels to timeshare illumination radars, greatly increasing the number of targets that can be engaged in quick succession. Mk-41 VLS adopts modular design concept, which result in different versions that vary in size and weight. The length comes in three sizes: 209 in from the self-defense version, 266 in for the tactical version, and 303 in for the strike version. The empty weight for an 8-cell module is 26,800 pounds for the self-defense version, 29,800 pounds for the tactical version, and 32,000 pounds for the strike version. In the middle 1980s, the SM-2MR was deployed via Mk-41 vertical launch system aboard Bunker Hill, the first U.S. Navy ship to deploy a vertical launcher. VLS has, since 2003, been the only launcher used for the Standard missile in the U.S. Navy aboard Ticonderoga-class cruisers and Arleigh Burke-class destroyers. The United States Navy is committed to keeping the Standard missile to medium-range viable until 2035. The M1 and M2 were continuously upgraded through blocks. The Standard can also be used against ships either at line-of-sight range using its semi-active homing mode, or over the horizon using inertial guidance and terminal infrared homing. Contractors. Standard missiles were constructed by General Dynamics Pomona Division until 1992, when it became part of the Hughes Missile Systems Company. Hughes formed a joint venture with Raytheon called Standard Missile Company. Hughes Missile Systems was eventually sold to Raytheon, making it the sole contractor. Operational history. The Standard Missile 1 became operational in 1968. The missile was utilized by ships equipped with the Tartar guided missile fire control system. The missile saw its first combat use in the early 1970s in the Vietnam War. The Standard Missile-2 became operational in the late 1970s and was deployed operationally with the Aegis Combat System in 1983. Both Standard 1 and 2 were used against both surface and air targets during Operation Praying Mantis. On July 3, 1988, US Vincennes mistakenly shot down Iran Air Flight 655, an Airbus A300B2, using two SM-2MR missiles from her forward launcher. In 1988, the Iranian Command-class missile boat Joshan was disabled by RIM-66 Standard missiles during Operation Praying Mantis. Deployment history. The Standard missile is designated by blocks depending upon the technological package. A M1 medium-range block high 2, 3, IV, RIM-66A. The first Standard missiles entered service in the USN in 1967. Blocks I-2 and 3 were preliminary versions. Block IV was the production version. This missile was a replacement for the earlier RIM-24C Tartar missile. A M1 medium-range Block V, RIM-66B. The RIM-66B introduced changes that resulted in higher reliability, a new faster reacting autopilot, a more powerful dual-thrust rocket motor, and a new warhead were added. Many RIM-66A missiles were remanufactured into RIM-66B. A M1 medium-range blocks VIB RIM-66E. The RIM-66E was the last version of the Standard Missile 1 medium range. This version entered service in 1983 with the United States Navy and export customers. The RIM-66E was used by all remaining Tartar vessels that were not modified to use the new threat upgrade and Oliver Hazard Perry-class frigates, which controlled it with the Mk-92 fire control system. Production of this missile ended in 1987. The missile was retired from USN service in 2003. However, there are a large number of this model in service abroad and it is expected to remain viable until 2020. EDM-2 medium-range block high RIM-66CD. The RIM-66C was the first version of the Standard Missile 2. The missile became operational in 1978 with the Aegis combat system fitted to the Ticonderoga-class cruiser. The RIM-660 was the EDM-2 medium-range block I version for the new threat upgrade. The EDM-2 incorporates a new autopilot, giving it inertial guidance in all phases of flight except for the terminal intercept where semi-active radar homing is still used. This version is no longer in service. Remaining missiles have either been remanufactured into later models or have been put in storage. EDM-2 medium-range Block 2 RIM-66GH. The Block 2 missile was introduced in 1983 with a new rocket motor for a longer range on a new warhead. The RIM-66G is for the Aegis combat system and the Mk-26 missile launcher. The RIM-66H is for Aegis and the Mk-41 vertical launcher. The RIM-66J is the version for the new threat upgrade. Block 2 missiles are no longer manufactured and have been withdrawn from service. The remainder have either been put in storage, scrapped for spare parts, or remanufactured into later models. EDM-2 medium-range Block 3 IIIB RIM-66KLM. The RIM-66M is the version of the Standard Missile 2 medium-range currently in service with the USN aboard Ticonderoga-class cruisers and Arleigh Burke-class destroyers. The missile is specifically designed for the Aegis Combat System and the Mk-41 Vertical Launch System. The Block 3 missiles differ from earlier blocks by the addition of the Mk-45 Mod 9 target detecting device, for improved performance against low-altitude targets. The Block IIIB missile additionally has a dual semi-active infrared seeker for terminal homing. The dual seeker is intended for use in high ECM environments against targets over the horizon or with a small radar cross-section. The seeker was originally developed for the cancelled IM-7R Sparrow air-to-air missile. All USN Block 3 and IIIA missiles are to be upgraded to Block IIIB. Block IIIA missiles are operated by the Japanese Maritime Self-Defense Force on its Kongo-class and Atago-class Aegis destroyers. Aegis-equipped vessels in the Spanish and South Korean navies use it as well. The Dutch and German navies have added it to the anti-air warfare system, which uses the Thales Nederland active phased array radar and Smart L radar. South Korean KDX-2 destroyers use the Block IIIA with a new threat upgrade-compatible guided missile fire control system. Block 3 variants for Aegis and ARM launchers are designated RIM-66L. Block 3 missiles for new threat upgrade systems are designated RIM-66K. Block IIIB missiles were not produced for the new threat upgrade. Blocks IIIA and IIIB are the current production versions. The Thales Netherlands STIR 1.8 and 2.4 fire control systems are also supported. Deployment in the U.S. Navy, RIM-66 standard was deployed on ships of the following classes, replacing RIM-24 Tartar in some cases: Charles A. Adams-class destroyer, Albany-class cruiser, Oliver Hazard Perry-class frigate, Kidd-class destroyer, California-class cruiser, Virginia-class cruiser, Ticonderoga-class cruiser, Arleigh Burke-class destroyer. RIM-66 has also been widely exported and is in service in other navies worldwide. Surface-to-air variants. Table sources, reference material, Land Attack Standard Missile, the RGM-165 LASM, also given the designation ED-M4, was intended as means to give long-range precision fires in support of the U.S. Marine Corps. Intended as an adaptation of the RIM-66, it retained the original Mk-125 warhead and Mk-104 rocket motor, with the radar seeker replaced by GPS-INS guidance. While test-fired in 1997 using 3 modified RIM-66 SM-2MR Block 3 missiles, with 800 missiles set for replacement and IOC expected for 2003-2004. It was cancelled in 2002 due to limited capabilities against mobile or hardened targets. Operators. Current operators: Australia Royal Australian Navy, Canada Royal Canadian Navy, Chile Chilean Navy, Denmark Royal Danish Navy, France French Navy, Egypt Egyptian Navy, Germany German Navy, Iran Islamic Republic of Iran Navy, Italy Italian Navy, Japan Japan Maritime Self-Defense Force, Netherlands Royal Netherlands Navy, Poland Polish Navy, South Korea Republic of Korea Navy, Spain Spanish Navy, Taiwan ROC Navy, Turkey Turkish Navy, United States former operators Greece Hellenic Navy.